I will now put up the URLs for both of the RVI and for the essay, The Breivik Action, the First Archaeofuturist Victory, which, by the way, will be included in a Breivik anthology by a nationalist in Portugal of what he considers to be the best material that came out of the Breivik action. Two weeks and 1 day exactly separate the Breivik action in Norway from the London riots. Some coincidence. What Breivik has left us with, and by the way, I should qualify, I was one of the individuals, the 997, not 1,000 as reported, who was on his original email list for the manifesto. 998 actually, but he CC'd to himself, so that doesn't count. Two weeks. What is being positioned in the minds, even if subliminally, subconsciously, is that there are institutional enemies. Who and what the individuals may or may not be behind these institutional enemies, they cannot be denied. He clearly pointed them out. Multiculturalism, political correctness, feminism, cultural Marxism. Even though I do not agree with the label of cultural Marxism, I do agree with the dynamic, the process. It is more a matter of cultural fascism, which has been in place in pretty well every Western country since the end of the Second World War. Be that as it may. And now we are left with the aftermath of the London riots. And if we were to rely on the mainstream media, there is no connection. You will have noticed that the Breivik story has disappeared and been displaced by London. To think that the two events are not connected, are not interrelated, is the height of stupidity. Of course they are. There is now talk that the London riots may have been a false flag. Possibly. Possibly to take advantage of the leadership vacuum at the top of Scotland Yard in the wake of the Rupert Murdoch hacking scandal. Factor in the results of the ballistics tests. We don't know. As we do not know what was behind the scenes with the Breivik action. Was he a lone wolf? Was he a Mossad pooch? And God only knows how many other conspiracy theories are floating around between those two extremes. It does not matter. The event itself, the action, is now in the world. And the event of the London riots will be, no matter with how much trepidation or fear, be connected to the Breivik message. The Occident is being colonized. The Occident is under siege. White Europids are literally up against the wall. Time is becoming short. We have, I personally would imagine, a 20-year window of opportunity within which to firstly halt the process, secondly to begin to reverse it. These are political challenges. Now, if we actually are in the process of progressing from cultural Rahowa, which we have lost badly for 20, 30, 40 years, we have had our asses handed to us on a plate, to actual physical Rahowa, as symbolized by the Breivik action, then we are at a completely new place. This is unexplored turf. We have never been here before. We will need to be careful and wise. We can no longer afford to be stupid. And I will save what I consider to be stupid for another video and leave it at that for the time being. These are extremely crucial times. We cannot afford to make mistakes. We will take a fair shit kicking over the next 2 to 3 years as the consequence of Breivik. However, within those consequences, there are untold opportunities to be mined and tapped that did not exist prior to July 22. I strongly urge you to read my essay, The Breivik Action, the First Archaeofuturist Victory. There is no turning back. There was not as of July 23, 2011, and there was not as of the morning of August 8th, 2011. This is our world. We may not agree with much of it. We may abhor much of it. We may not wish to look at much of it. But we cannot deny that it is. We cannot afford to keep our heads stuck in the sand and pretend that it will all be okay. It will not all be okay. We approach a political critical mass, as others may understand it. The crisis ripens. We will be here for it. We must prepare. We must be considerate. We must be careful. We must be wise. We must be courageous. We must step over a line in the sand that has now been drawn. Some nationalists will, most will not. And for those who do, we shall leave those who have not eating our dust. This is how it will be. Thank you for your attention. Godspeed.